guys, it's Izzy here, and today I'm going to be showing you my February TBR, so all the books that I want to read in February. Now, I stay pretty closely to my TBR. I'm definitely not a mood reader. I'm way too indecisive for that, so I draw these out of a hat, and that's how I choose what I'm going to read. I do it by genre as well. We have classic, sci-fi, contemporary, and nonfiction, so it's a wide variety of different kinds of books that we're going to be talking about today. I will have a blog post up this weekend. I will leave a link to my blog in the description of this video. It is only Sarah Izzy Reads. And yeah, so it would be really awesome if you guys could follow me there, so you will be able to see a more in-depth synopsis of these books there this weekend. Their debut album, I think it's one of the best-selling albums of all time. Now, I am participating in Explorathon this month, and that is a readathon. I will leave a link to their Twitter down below in the pinned comment of this video if you guys would like to check out the reading prompts there. And this theme for the Explorathon is outer space, and that was just perfect because I was already doing my bullet journal a space theme, so that just fit in so perfectly. I don't have all the prompts off the top of my head, but I do remember some. So the first book is a carryover from January, so you will not be getting a book review of this one since I did start it last month, and that is A Tale of Two Cities. I got something on that right there. But by Charles Dickens. This is a classic novel that was published in the late 1800s, but the story takes place 100 years before and starting in 1875. So a lot is happening in the world at this time, and it does start with the iconic quote, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times," in England and in France. It's this the monarchy is what dominates society, and if the monarchy's okay, they don't care how everybody else is, if the people on the streets are starving, if everybody is afraid of the person walking by. It's not a good time. We have the Revolutionary War taking place over in North America with all that happening, so that's even just kind of knocking at Britain's self-esteem for the rebellious Americans. So this book does follow the two cities of London and Paris throughout. My grandma only said throughout the war, so I'm not sure which war that is. I think it's the 100-year war, but I am about, I think, 18 or 16% into this book, so I'm not very far into it. I did start over yesterday because I was having a hard time physically reading it, so I am physically reading it still, but listening to the audiobook as well. That just has really helped and improved my reading experience with this, and I did that for Jane Eyre as well. And it's very good to read these classic novels with somebody else reading along with you, I guess. Jane Eyre was a lot easier to read than this one, but the stories are obviously completely different. With Les Mis, I did do the audiobook, and Les Mis, I had a very easy time following along because it was straight up my alley for a kind of book. There was just so much happening. And I'm sure with this book a lot's going to be happening as well, but it is a relatively short book for a classic. It is only 300 and something pages, so not very long. Our next book is The Illuminate Files by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is a very popular young adult science fiction novel here on BookTube, and I guess in general because it is a New York Times bestseller, so it's really awesome to see this on Book Outlet, and I was able to get it for a very good deal. So this book is told in mixed media formatting. Just flipping through, you can see that, and I was advised to go the audiobook format for this. I've just been told that it enhances the experience of reading this, but to follow along as well, because sometimes it does skip pages that just have illustrations like this, that it won't go over all this, so just to follow along, just to be on the safe side. So this book has such an interesting format. I haven't read anything like that, so I hope that I do enjoy it. So this book does take place in 2575. I have a hard time with years when it's years we haven't reached yet. So this book follows characters Katie and Ezra. So they were a couple at one time, broke up, and thought it was the worst thing in the world, and that is until their world basically started getting destroyed. There's plagues happening, wars, so they are basically left alone, and I think they have to come together to help save their society in a way. That's my guess of what it's about. And because he's the only person who can help her with all these files and data and everything that she has to come through, I guess, get through to save everybody. So I'm really excited for this. It is a series, and I think this format is so interesting. Our next book is a contemporary novel, and that is Beartown by Frederick Backman. And I think this is a translated work of fiction, as the author is from Stockholm, Sweden, and the name of the series is Björnstad. So I may be saying that wrong. I'm only like 1% Scandinavian. Don't come for me. So this is I don't know if it's just going to be a duology or if they are going to make more books, but this takes place in a small town that is mainly known for its ice hockey, their ice rink. That's what the town's really built around. Everybody is they all come together for the sport of hockey that was built, the rink was built so long ago by like the town's founders. And so the hockey team is a big deal, but it does come into some trouble. A young girl is traumatized, so I'm assuming that she was assaulted or something by one of the players on the team. That's just my theory and what I've heard other people's theories be before they actually read this. And oh my gosh, this book is like so trippy with my lights up here, with like the way the lettering is. It's shiny. I shouldn't be laughing after we were talking about something serious about this. So it's basically, can this town come back from this? What will this traumatic event do to the thing that brought the town together? Is it going to bring the town apart? Who knows? And I think this book can fit one of the challenges that was about a forest. We do have a forest on the cover, and it does have a green cover. So I didn't say, this one has a black cover, which was one of the challenges. And then one was romance. So this may have romance, as it's about a couple who are now exes, but will they come back together as a couple? Who knows? Then we have a nonfiction book, which will be the last book that I read this month, and that is Misfortune, Fortified One by Shirley Harold Bonner. So this is as I said, a nonfiction work of a book, and this is about Anne of, what country was it? That's bad, I can't remember. I want to say, I said Anne. I'm sorry. It's about Margaret of Austria, ruler of the Low Countries from 1507 to 1530. Now, if you're not familiar with where the Low Countries are, I'm pretty sure it is over near Holland, Belgium, Flanders, that part of the world. I think those are what are considered the Low Country. Now, why I said Anne, she helped raise Anne Boleyn, who was Queen of England at one time, mother of Queen Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen. Margaret of Austria had Anne Boleyn when Anne Boleyn was a child at her court in the Low Countries. So a lot of what went into Anne Boleyn's Anne Boleyn, I think, was a very political savvy character in history, and she obviously learned all this in her childhood from being at this court, and I think she was at the French court as well. I know her sister Mary Boleyn, who is one of my great-grandmothers, was at the French court, so I am not sure if Anne was there as well, but I would say there's a pretty good chance of her sister was there. So this book is all about Margaret of Austria. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, comment, rate, and subscribe. And as I said, I will have a blog post this weekend talking about all these books more in depth, giving you a more in-depth synopsis. It's just easier for me to write it out than talk it out loud. But bye guys!